Okay, my angels, we are now on to part 9 of Who the Helly Did I Marry? I want to make a disclaimer that this is not going to be as energetic as I hope it to be because I actually feel like a ghost right now because I am severely on my period. But I did not want to leave you guys hanging on this next episode, but I'm going to do my best here, okay? So the scene is we're going to Vegas and Takis wanted to celebrate the fact that he had gotten the green card interview date. He decided that we were going to go to Vegas for a weekend and 2 of his friends were going to be tagging along with us. They are actually 2 Greeks that I haven't mentioned before, but they were in our friend group that hung out with us a lot. And one was named Luca. He was a tech guy. He was super into Apple products, and he had met Takis while they were just both in the Greek community in LA. They met actually here. And then the other one is Paula, who I love her so much. Her and I still chat to this day. She's from Cyprus, which is near Greece, and she was here studying for her master's to be a family therapist, and that's actually what she ended up doing. She opened up her own practice in Cyprus. I'm really proud of her, and she ended up becoming a marriage counselor, so she actually did talk me off the ledge on many an occasion through my relationship with Takis because the man did a number on my mental health. So we end up renting a car, we drive down to Vegas, and we were staying at Caesars Hotel and Casino because that was Takis' favorite place, and it ended up being the place we stayed up a lot because you can join clubs when you go to casinos and gamble a lot. Basically, you get a club card, and then if you gamble there, you get points. The more you gamble, obviously, the more points you get, and then the points can be used to get free rooms and stuff. So it's kind of like a little rewards program. So we're at Caesars, and we go straight away to going and gambling because obviously, what else do you do there? We're going to sit in the AC and we're going to play. So we go, and we're gambling, and I'm like, I'm really, really hungry. And Takis is like, okay, what do you want to go eat? I was like, I really want sushi. So I have to mention that in this relationship that I had with Takis, I know that I've mentioned a lot of negative things about this man. Obviously, he was a walking red flag, but there were things that I loved about him because obviously the relationship had a lot of ups and downs. I fell in love with him in the first place for a reason. He was very good at love bombing me when we were really good in the relationship. He would buy me gifts, be very sweet and cuddly, and for the most part being very affectionate. The downwards was when things were bad, they were really, really bad. As we know from the things that I have hinted before, he had quite the wandering eye, which he would always play like it was just being Greek and being a man, and I was like, no, that's not what that's about. And he would try to say it was just like the cultural differences and stuff. He ended up mind fucking me so bad, you guys, that he ended up making me think that I was crazy and that I was jealous, even though I have never been jealous in a relationship in my life. I'm like the chillest girl alive. This man made me think that maybe I am jealous and insecure, but really he was just a creeper on other women. We go to a sushi place, and the sushi place was in one of the other hotels. We're sitting in a booth. In the booth is me and then Paula. Across from her is Luca, and across from me is Takis. The bathroom is behind Takis. Anyone that is walking past is looking straight at Takis, and he's looking at them while they go to the bathroom. Now, Takis had taught me some Greek while we've been together, and also just from overhearing them all talk, I was picking things up. So I was talking with Paula, we're chatting, and then he and Luca are talking. I am very in the moment into whatever conversation I'm having, so I'm not going to be listening to what you're saying. But, you know, the female instinct, sometimes you pick up on words, and I'm talking to Paula, and I just hear at the corner of my ear, Takis go, Omorfi Yineka. Now, I'm sorry to my Greeks if I had butchered that pronunciation. It's been a while since I've spoken Greek, but basically it means beautiful woman. And it's something he would say to me all the time. And so I look over. Who is he talking to? Luca. Where is he looking? Not at me. He's not talking about me, y'all. He is looking past me. So I immediately eyeline, turn around, and I see a tall, beautiful, blonde, scantily clad girl wearing just enough to cover just the tiny bits that God gave her. I mean, she's looking good. And she is sashing down, and she is smiling and looking straight into the eyes of my man. I look over at my man, and my man is staring into her eyes and smiling at her as well. Hi, sir. Do you not remember me, your wife, sitting across from you, looking at you? What's going on? I kick him from under the table, and he looks at me, and I'm like, hi. And he goes, yes, my love. And I said, what you looking at? And he was like, oh, nothing. I was like, you literally were looking at that girl that walked by to go to the bathroom, the beautiful one with the long white dress. And he's like, no, I wasn't. What girl? What girl? Sir, I was not born yesterday, okay? I have eyes to see. And I said, and I heard you say beautiful woman in Greek. And he goes, oh, I was talking about you. Brother, really? And I was just like, this mofo is trying to pull one up on me. And I was just pissed, right? And I don't want to make a scene because we're with our friends and they're looking at all of us like, uh-oh, they're about to start. So I'm just like, okay, I see you. I clocked you. I got your number, sir. I'm eating my sushi angrily. He knows he done fucked up. So he's trying to give me compliments. He's telling our friends like, oh, doesn't my wife look so beautiful tonight? Am I not like the luckiest guy alive? Blah, 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 blah. So we finished dinner. We're walking out. He's trying to like hold me and touch me and hold my hand while walking, but I'm like, So I go over, I loop arms with Paula. I'm like, this motherfucker can eat rocks. We're walking out. They're like, what do you guys want to do? I'm like, I want to go play roulette and I want to get some drinks. Okay, so we go to Cosmo, where my favorite roulette dealer was, and we go and sit with him, and I'm sitting there determined to win some money, ignore Takis, and get some drinks. I'm just steadily just drinking away, spending money, and just ignoring this man, and I'm having a great time. At one point, those double vodkas on the rocks with a splash of lemon are hitting me, y'all, and I'm like suddenly like fucked up. And now in my fucked up state, I'm pissed at Takis. So at one point I kind of like look over and I see him on his phone texting. And I'm like, who are you texting? And he's like, what? I'm like, who are you texting? Like, everyone that you need is right here. Who are you texting? And he's like, I'm texting with, and he names one of his friends. And I'm like, oh, really? And he's like, yes. And he's like, wait, you don't believe me? I'm like, I don't believe anything you say right now, sir. And he's like, you need to relax, like everything's fine. I told you already that I wasn't checking out that girl. You need to get over it. And I was talking about you because who else would I say is beautiful other than you? I'm like, don't you gaslight me, sir. So I'm like mad now. And I start kind of raising my voice at him. And the dealer who knows us is like, hey, Kat, you kind of need to keep it down. Like, are you guys good? I'm like, no, I'm done with this. I want to cash out. We cash out. I'm like storming to the room now because I'm drunk, angry, and I just lost a bunch of money. Everyone's chasing after me. And Takis is like fed up with me, right? He's just like, ugh, because this man is so emotionally unavailable. And this was like the cycle. Basically, I would get my feelings hurt about something. He would gaslight me. He would tell me that I shouldn't get my feelings hurt because the only time that I should get my feelings hurt is when he purposely does it. And if any other time that I get my feelings hurt and he didn't purposely do it, it means that I shouldn't have my feelings hurt. I don't know what kind of mindfuckery this man was doing, but that was his way of basically invalidating my feelings every single time. There was just a lot of cultural differences where he would say like, oh, well, I was just saying it and it just sounds rude because of my accent. I'm like, okay. Like, he'd be like, oh, Americans are so sensitive. I'm like, well, babe, you wanted to marry an American because you wanted to be in America, and now you're saying I'm too fucking sensitive? Like, that's not cool. Everyone finally chases us back to our room, and me and Takis are in one room, and Luca and Paula are in another room, and me and Takis go into our room, and we just start going at it. I just start reading this man all his wrongdoings, and I'm like, I know that you were checking out that woman. I know that you check out other women in front of me. You think that I don't see it, but I do, and I heard you talking about her, and you can't gaslight me and try to act like I'm crazy. And he's like, look, you shouldn't be jealous because you know that I think you're the most beautiful woman to me. So if I am actually checking out a woman, it's because I'm just admiring her beauty from a very human to human standpoint. It's not like I want to have sex with her. I'm like, you were smiling at this woman and having a moment with her. And he's like, I didn't mean to smile at her. So before he wasn't smiling at her, but now he is saying he did smile at her, but he didn't mean to. All these men. He's like, what? I can't just smile at women now? I start hyperventilating because I'm drunk and I start having like a legit panic attack. Like my heart is going, I think I'm having a heart attack. I'm like freaking out. Takis doesn't know what to do, so he goes and gets Paula and brings her in the room. Paula's sitting there breathing with me and stuff, and then Takis goes into Luca's room and is in there with him. His wife is literally having a panic attack, hyperventilating because of fighting with him, and he goes and avoids and is in the other room. He tells Paula that he can't bear to see me in this amount of physical pain because it saddens him, and so he's not going to be there for me. Y'all, this was a pattern like he would do when I would really, really need him to be there for me. He would just dip out and avoid, and he would use it as like, oh, it hurts me too much to see you. I was like, this is giving like your parent that spanks you that's like, this hurts me more than it hurts you. Like, bullshit, dude. So because he abandoned me in my time of need, I was just like, oh my God, I'm done with this man. Like, I do not want to go through this interview. I do not want to be with him. I'm freaking done with him. And Paula's like trying to calm me down, and then she ends up sleeping in the room with me. And the next day we get up, I'm not talking to Takis. We all get in the car. He's trying to like be sweet to me and be like, baby, come on, like I'm really sorry. I was just drunk and panicking and I don't want to hear it. We drive back to LA. They drop us back off at our apartment. The dog sitter brings the dogs over, and I'm just happy to see them, and I just want to be with my babies and just cuddle with the dogs and ignore Takis. The cycle would go that he would do something that pissed me off. I would suspect him for being a philanderer, and then he would go buy me a gift or do something nice for me to win me back and get in my good graces again. He had been talking about getting me a ring, right? Because he hadn't gotten me a ring yet, because obviously we just agreed to get married and we had our wedding and everything, but I never had an engagement ring. He had talked about getting me a ring and that he needed to get get me one, especially before the interview. And I was just like, whatever, you know, I don't really care. So I'm like laying in the bed with the dogs, and Takis is like, hey, I'm gonna go out for a bit. I'm like, I don't care. You could literally swim to the middle of the ocean and never stop. I don't care. And then he ordered a sushi and was being all sweet, and I basically just decided to forgive him. This was just the toxic cycle that we were in for a while. He told me that he would never let that happen again. He would never leave me alone again when I needed him, and I believed him. Now, when he and I had split and I basically blasted his name to the universe, cursed his name to hell and Hades, I had deleted most of the pictures of us, but I did a bunch of digging this weekend to try to find some visual aids for you guys because I know that you want to see stuff. So I want to say like a week or so later, and we were on a good week streak. He was being very sweet. We were kind of back in the rhythm of our things. And I woke up one morning, he was kneeling by the bed, and he was like, hey, wake up. And I kind of opened, and I want to reiterate that your girl's not a morning person. And I'm kind of like looking at him, and the dogs are laying on me, and we're all looking at him like, what does this dude want this early? And he's like, hey, I just want to let you know that I feel like the luckiest man alive to be able to marry you and live this life with you. I love you so much, and you're my whole world. And then he presented me with this. Now, just like Carrie understood that the first ring that Aiden got her, which was not right, meant that the marriage was not going to be right, and this ring so did not represent me because, first of all, I am a gold girly, so if you're going to get me an engagement ring, you should know that it should be gold, and I like vintage-looking rings, and this man got me a white gold platinum ring with this fucking square thing around it that looks like it was made by aliens, but, you know, this was such a big deal on his part to do this that I was obviously very appreciative. I was happy, and I wasn't going to complain. He specifically designed this and was like, I designed this with the thought of you. I thought that this represented you. And at the time, I was just like, oh my God, who cares that I hate this ring? Like, I love this man, and he thought of me. Red flag if a man gets you a ring you hate, ladies. A couple weeks later, it was time for the interview finally. Interview day comes, and a lot of people that we knew that had been through the interview process actually were like, oh, they take you in separate rooms. It's really intense. They make you answer all these questions. They go up randomly at your house. So we were kind of prepared, but we were happy that we were finally going to get it over. And honestly, we weren't really that worried because we knew that we were legit and in love. And so we were just like, anything that they ask us, we're going to be able to answer because we know so much about each other. So we go to the interview, and it is an older white woman. She takes us in, and me and Takis both have very like jokey personalities. We're both very easygoing, and so we're kind of laughing and chatting with her a little bit. And she had a picture of her cute dog on her desk. It was like this poodle mix, and we were asking about her dog. And then she starts asking the questions, which is like, what's his mom's name? What's her mom's name? Just very simple questions. What side does he sleep on? What side does she sleep on? And we're like kind of wondering when they're going to separate us. She maybe asks us like, I want to say 6 questions. We have a photo album full of pictures, all of our pictures, including ones from Vegas when we got married, me in my fucking club dress next to the priest that said, do you sex this person? The last question she just asked was, she goes, what are you guys going to do after this? And we both look at each other, and we had already decided that we were going to go to McDonald's after because we wanted to have like a little cheat meal. And we're both like, we're going to go to McDonald's. And she was like, yeah. And what do each of you get? And Takis was like, she likes the Filet-O-Fish. And I was like, and he likes the Big Mac with fries. And she was like, great. And she was like, thanks so much. It was great to meet you guys. And we were like, oh, that's it? And she's like, yep. So we leave, and we're just kind of standing out there, and the little attendant person is like, okay, you guys can just like stand right here. We can see through the glass the woman. She literally goes, she whispers to someone. We're like, oh, they're going to separate us now. And then another person walks out, and she's like, congratulations, you guys are approved, or whatever the lingo that they say is. And we were like, that was it? And the lady goes, yeah. She said, you guys are a really lovely couple. Famous last words. And we were like, yay. So we're feeling good. We leave. We go get our McDonald's. Things are great. We're so happy. We go back to our apartment. We have friends over. We have like Paula and Luca over and a bunch of other people. And while we're there, Paula looks at Takis, and she was like, hey, Tommy's texting me. He wants to come over. And Takis is like, oh, I don't know about that because, you know, the whole thing with Maisie. And I was like, oh, who's Tommy? And Takis is like, oh, that was Maisie's unofficial pharmacist. Remember? The one that she owed money to? I'm like, oh, I forgot about that situation. And Takis is like, don't worry. He's not going to like try to like hustle me for it. He was actually one of our good friends, and I haven't seen him. He's been out of town, and he's back now. So he wants to come over. I'm like, oh, great. Like, I'd love to meet him. And he's like, yeah. So we're kind of like all crammed into our apartment, and we're all kind of just hanging out. Maybe like 30, 45 minutes later, and there's like a knock at the door, and I'm sitting next to the door, and Takis is across the room, and he's like, oh, baby, will you go get the door? It's probably Tommy. I'm like, yeah, of course. I open the door. The man before me, I recognize him, and he recognizes me. And he just goes, cat? And I just said, oh my God, you're the Tommy that they were talking about? I didn't know that you were an unofficial pharmacist. Yes, y'all, the world keeps getting smaller and smaller because I knew this man. And I will tell y'all how I knew this man in the next episode. And I'm going to leave you guys with also a picture of Takis. This is one that I was able to find that doesn't completely show everything about him, but I feel like is safe enough to show him so that you guys that are curious can see what he looked like. So, episode 10 coming up. How do I know Tommy? Now Takis is able to work and do more, so he ends up getting more involved with the truck, and we end up getting a windfall of money through an unforeseen circumstance. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in.